All right, welcome everybody. So the year is almost over. We're past the 6 month mark, and it's been an interesting year so far. We've had a lot of changes. We've had a lot of things added to the game. So I figured I'd give my wish list of where I'd like to see the game go towards the next 5 months, towards the end of the year, maybe into the beginning of next year. So just my wish list. It's going to be pretty selfish because it's just what I thought about. Some of it um, affects more so my power set that I'm using, fire, um, tanks in general, and then there's other things on this list that just is more so quality of life for the whole community. So we'll start off with the first thing. One of the things I think is the most important thing is fixing the chat. um, I don't know what happened or when it happened when they just broke trade chat and um, LFG just became the chat for everything. Well, they do have shout and say, but those are not used. But let's fix the chat. Let's get it back where people can shout and where they want to shout, because I remember back in the day you could delete a chat. So, because looking for group is just out of control now. So there's just, political scamming, hate, rage, trolling. There's everything in LFG. So, if we can just get the chat fixed, and maybe people can go wherever they want to go and have their private discussions, and we can get back into doing what we need to actually do. And if you want to sell an item, you can go specifically to trade item. Like, I don't know, like, just fix the chat in general, and I think that will help streamline people that are actually looking for help in playing the game. I watched the chat go by for maybe like 5 to 10 minutes, and one person was just like, hey, need roles for A and B, and in between the need roles for A and B, it was um Matt Super and this person and that person, and then it just went crazy. So that's something that I think would be great to fix moving forward into the game. I think it would only help. The second thing that I think would be great would be on your friends list. If you could sort them by abilities: tank, DPS, healer, troll. Because especially when you pug, you end up gaining a lot of friends. So my friends list is very extensive, but I couldn't tell you everybody what their role is. I can tell you, people that I run with consistently or frequently, what their role is. But you might have ran with somebody and they was a great pug tank, and you were like, oh man, this person is great. Let me just add them, just in case, because they said, hey, add me, I'm down to do runs. But you forgot what their power type was, you forgot what they did, but you added them. Or somebody will pop up that you've played with months ago. You're like, oh, this is my friend, they log back in, but I don't remember what their role was. So I think if you were able to sort them into categories, like, whoever, this person just logged in, tank. Ah, great, I know this is a tank, and you can sell them as hell. I think that would definitely be helpful. Um, let's see what else we got here. We also got a search function on your alts. So I have maybe 6 or 7 alts, and a lot of them were used before for storage. You run a lot of things with your main, and you're like, okay, well, I'll put this over here. I'll put this in a shared bank. Your shared bank is full, so you're like, okay, well, I have this character take all of these, and I'll have this character take all of these. And one day I was looking for Cane Essence because somebody was shouting for it. They needed, and I knew I had a plethora of them. So I was like, alright, well, I'll give it to them, but I didn't have any on my main. Went to secondary, wasn't with them. Went to the third, and I was like, I'm not going to search through 5 more characters to give somebody something just because I want to be nice. Like, that's a lot of time involved with going through the whole thing. So if we just had like a search function to say, like, hey, searching for item, whatever, soda coolers. Oh, 20 on Lord Aiden, 19 on Sage. Like, if you could just break it down that way, I think that would be very helpful, since we don't have that shared inventory. So that's something that I think would be pretty easy. Easy to, well, I don't know, easy. I'm not gonna say easy because I'm not a programmer, but I think it would help the game speed up because you don't have to log off and go into one of your alts when you're just trying to do something. Let's see, what else we have. Also, how about we do something with the extra renown? When you get your renown up to, max, and your, what is it, trusted, or whatever the max renown is, what do you do when you get all the extra renown? What do you do with that? I think right now for the latest DLC, I probably have 250 or 300 renown just sitting there with nothing to do with it. So I don't know if for every 10 renown convert into a source mark or something. There has to be something to do with it because after a while, it's kind of pointless to keep getting renown because there's nothing that you can do with it. It's just either you have to delete it or it takes up space. You obviously can't trade it to another character because that would defeat the purpose of the game or something they may end up trying to implement, which I hope not. But there has to be something to do with this extra renown opposed to just hoarding it. So that would be something that would be helpful. I mean, some source marks, not one for one, that may be crazy or maybe not. 100 source marks. If you have a pack of 99, that might not be so bad. So that's something, whatever they want to come up with that. Let's see what else. Also, a lot of people in the game that I've noticed do have alts. And in my opinion, the wolf pack idea, hate it, love it. It did save some resources. It did save some time for having to level things up on multiple characters. You can just wolf pack Omega. Yeah, it's expensive, but you could wolf pack Omega and that'll save plenty of time and you can use Omega on all your alts. I think they should implement a system like that for allies also. You have your main, you want to try different things, and you're leveling up this ally and that ally. I leveled up Zatanna when she first came out as potentially an alternative for the Batman Who Laughs. Nope, didn't work. Batman Who Laughs, in my opinion, worked better. So she's just sitting there, not getting any use unless I decide to really jump headfirst into this pet DPS. But I know another character who's sorcery, who would use Zatanna and benefit from it more than my fire character. So it would be great to just, wolf pack that one over, let them use it, and go from there instead of spending the marks on the other character. So I don't know, I think that's something that could be helpful. Let's see, what else was I thinking? Another one of my wish list ideas is now this is just selfish. This is specifically for people who share the same role as the things that I'm doing. So power specific allies. Now they've, at one point when Obsidian Chill was still making videos, he did say that that was the direction that they wanted to go, that they were moving in. They were doing power set allies. They did Poison Ivy, they did Static for electric, then they did Roll because then they did Shazam for healing, they did John Stewart for combo powers. They were working different allies doing different things for roles and for power sets, and that was good. And I was hoping that Fire was going to be next, and it didn't happen. And then the system changed, or developers changed, and then that just went to the wayside. And then we got these other allies, and none of them were for that. So I think power-specific allies would be great, and also role-specific allies, or both at the same time. So, like what I was thinking, like specifically, the next ally that I would love to see would be a tank slash fire type ally. We have some tank allies. Are they great tank allies? In my opinion, no, not really. You have Lex for that boost to your stats if your health is under 50%. You have Superman, where you get the Superman shield if you're using a breakout, but if you don't use a breakout, then you're not going to use Superman. there's not that many artifacts for that. There's DPS artifacts, there's controller artifacts. I mean, allies. There's different allies that do different things, but I think a tank ally that's specifically for a tank would be great. So my idea for a tank ally, and specifically, going both ways, tank and fire, would be a ally for a tank that one of their passives would be that when you activate a shield, it inflicts burning, and in tank role, instead of mitigating damages, any enemies that attack your shield, it would now heal you instead of just mitigate the damages. Of course, they'd have to work on the time frame. I don't know if it'd be the duration that the shield is up. That may be too OP. May it be half the time or X amount of seconds. But in tank role, I think that would help a lot of tank power sets that use shields, including ice. Definitely would help fire. And in DPS role, any enemy that you come in contact with while you have a shield, it'll inflict burning and explode after X amount of seconds. Not too OP, but I think the shield part, I think that would definitely be beneficial to all tanks. And the second passive that I've been thinking about is for weapon buffs. So I know you have Starfire, where if you activate a weapon buff, you get might for X amount of time, and where it used to be in the game, where if you attacked a burning enemy, you would get healing by activating your weapon buff. So I figured they could bring that back with the second passive. If you activated a weapon buff, your weapon attacks now have a chance to heal you. Maybe switch up the loadout a little bit. Instead of Stoke Flames, you put Fiery Weapon, or with Stoke Flames, should I say. You can add Fiery Weapon for another ability that heals you while you're in combat since you're not blocking. So I don't know, something different, something I've been thinking about, but not more so for tank role with that aspect, but more so for trying to increase the DPS role now. And I was just thinking if you activated a weapon buff on one or two things, and probably is game breaking for both of them. One would be to speed up the attack, or have your attack speed increase. So most of Fire's moves are channel powers, or the moves that are not channel powers are just slow. So if some way somehow we could Flame Cascade. It does decent amount of damage, but it's just a slow power, and it takes a while to use Omega with Flame Cascade. So potentially, if you increase the speed by half or by 1, then that would give you more opportunities to prop Omega. That would give you more opportunities to do different things in your loadout and just be more creative with it. So that could be one aspect of it. Or if that's something that's just not feasible, then potentially activating Fire Weapon when you attack a burning enemy, inflict damage over time, which explodes, or something of that nature at the end of X amount of time. Just something different to increase it on the damage side. And again, this is something that I've just been thinking about sporadically. Fire Ally I have been thinking about for a while now. I do think that that's something that we do need, especially fire and tanking together, that would kill two birds with one stone. But again, this is just me spitballing, just something that I would like to see. All these things are things that I think would be definitely beneficial. The first 5 more so than the last one, because the last one is extremely selfish and just more so a want of one player. But the other things I think would definitely be helpful. Fixing the chats, being able to sort your friends by ability, the search function on the alts definitely would speed up time, so that way you're not going back and forth, because that'll stop some people from playing. Like, I don't really feel like doing that right now. And definitely that renown. If you could trade renown for marks, I don't know about other people, but I still have some say, like I said before, so it'd be pretty helpful. And the ally wolf packs, I know that's another cash grab, and that's probably something that they have in the works, but I would buy a couple of them to switch out for these offs to save me some time. Anyway, there's my rant. I appreciate anybody who stuck around and listened to me rant for this long, and you guys just have a good one.